I'm always excited to review vintage perfumes, and one that I have here today is TABU by Dana. So this is a very old perfume. It's from 1932. Some say it's from 1933, but my list here says it's 1932. And this has some interesting background information, I suppose. So the founder of this company, Dana, was Javier Serra, and he was inspired supposedly to create this perfume, spelled in a unique way, when he was walking along and found a book by Sigmund Freud called Totem and Taboo. Taboo obviously usually is spelled with two O's at the end, but when you translate it into Spanish, it has a U on the end instead. And the inspiration, the very interesting inspiration of this perfume, for some reason, the perfumer wanted to create something called un parfum de puta, which means a horrors perfume for prostitutes. Of course, they weren't going to market it as that, but that was the impetus. That's the kind of vibe they wanted to get for this perfume. Mainly because this is a very sultry, very heavy, very spicy perfume. And take a look at the bottle here. A relatively simple bottle, has these interesting ribs on each end. Typical top here, the cap is plastic, very simple. But the smell of this perfume, I've tried before, but I'll put it on again, is very, very strong. When you first put it on, you might be like, oh, what is this? But once it settles down, it really becomes something very interesting. So, the top notes of this perfume, right away, spicy. You get lots of different spices. And after that, orange, coriander, which is another spice, neroli, and bergamot. So, I mean, this goes out full force. It's not playing around, this TABU. It was called the Forbidden Fragrance when it came out. It was also known as the Longest Kiss. And a lot of old advertisements had this painting, which is actually called the Kreutzer Sonata, of this violinist kind of swooping down to kiss this woman who's playing the piano. Very dramatic. So they certainly knew how to market this very sultry perfume. The top notes, I mean, it sells it right away. The neroli is very sensual, very smooth and thick. Spices right away, very warm. And that note of lemon the orange, along with the bergamot, already give this, it complements the spice notes, you know. And it's actually similar to Youth Do by Estee Lauder in that way. Mixing the citrus notes with the spices gives you almost a Christmassy kind of vibe, but then it gets really kind of musky really fast. The heart notes, the middle notes here, consist of more spices, specifically cloves, ylang, rose, jasmine, and narcissus, and all of that, like the rose complements the spices really well. The ylang also is a very kind of warm, kind of oily sort of scent, and along with the jasmine. And you know, there is a certain sweetness. This in general isn't a very sweet perfume, but it does have a very natural floral sweetness. You can imagine bending down to, you know, smell some sort of flower, and it has that natural sweetness. Not sugary, but, you know, like the nectar. And that contrasting with the cloves is very expertly done. Then the base notes are hardcore. You got amber, civet, benzoin, sandalwood, musk, patchouli, oak moss, vetiver, and oak. So all of that makes this a very heavy perfume. The musk notes and the civet notes are the most prominent. They really show through all the floral notes. They kind of pierce through all that. And the wood notes are also present. It gives the perfume a sort of dryness, this natural dryness, sappy kind of amber hue, and it does have a very animalistic vibe, similar to Obsession by Calvin Klein, which obviously came out in the 80s, much later. But this TABU is very, I mean, I could see why, the kind of marketing thing they were going for with, the forbidden fragrance, the longest kiss. This is definitely, of course, it's not too popular these days as it was in the past, but it was definitely created to be something very attractive, very seductive, for the temptress, that sort of thing. And interesting thing, besides the fact that it was supposedly created to be a horror's perfume, it was worn by many different people, high-class women, middle-class women, all sorts of people. And, I mean, from a modern standpoint, it is easily a unisex fragrance because it is so musky. Now, I have a lot of vintage perfumes. I have Shalimar, Youth Dew, Chanel No. 5. But TABU specifically, I would say it's muskier than all of them. It has more animalistic notes, it has more woody notes, more musk notes, all of that. It's just more potent. I would say it's the most similar to Youth Dew, but Youth Dew still doesn't have the same musk or the same civet. It's just more spicy. This has the spice, and then it really amplifies it with the animalistic notes. And for that reason, it probably wouldn't appeal to everyone. Some people, it's just too heavy, too intense for some people. But if you're looking for something that stands out, it will last a long time because it's definitely high up on the longevity rating. This is definitely a good choice, and ironically, this is a clone. This is a 2.3 fluid ounce eau de cologne. And the thing about cologne is that it usually doesn't last a long time. I have Emerald, which is that thing right there. And it's a cologne, and it really doesn't last that long. Its main downfall is that it doesn't last very long. But I've tried this, and this is also a cologne, and this lasts twice as long as Emerald, so I don't know what the deal with that is, but most likely because of those really sticky, musk notes. So, besides that, longevity, it is a very powerful fragrance, so you do have to be careful not to use too much of it, because you could easily put on too much and then it's just, oh no. So, as long as you put on a moderate amount, you should be fine. It'll definitely last a long time. Even if you put on just a little bit, it'll last a long time. And despite its strength, it is still balanced. I wouldn't say, the civet note is still the strongest. You get that kind of, I don't know, it's just heavy. And it's the most prominent, but it is still balanced. It's still kind of smoothed out by the floral notes, the spice notes, and the wood notes. So all of this kind of blends together into a very nice, very exotic. It has this exotic kind of flair to it. And the interesting thing is, it really isn't the kind of perfume that it used to be. It used to be very popular, very, people would really know what kind of perfume this was. But today, it's kind of forgotten. And it's also very affordable. The price has dropped over the years. I think it's only $20 these days, but it's very, very good for the evening. I wouldn't recommend it for hot weather because I feel that those animalistic notes would get too heavy, just too much in hot weather. But cold weather, autumn and winter, very good choice. Evening wear is a good choice. And overall, it's a very interesting fragrance, and you get a lot of it. This is, more than 2 ounces. So if you already know that you like animalistic, musky, spicy fragrances, you'd probably like this. And I would say it gets more attractive the longer you wear it, because as it kind of, it softens over time. So you get to experience more of the notes it has over the hours. So that's all I have to say about Taboo by Dana. If you have any kind of opinions about this perfume, you can leave those down in the comments below. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.